Good morning. I am Chris Stirewalt, and here are your buzz cuts from Fox News First. Off the top, Obama dumps on Congress. A lot. The president had an interview yesterday with Jake Tapper on CNN. They aired it they released it this morning, airing parts of it. Here's a little tip for you guys, not to ruin the 4 o'clock telecast for CNN, but the president thinks that the Republicans in Congress are kind of stinky. He talked a lot about it, and you will appreciate this quote, Internet. He said, "In fact, we've been very disciplined and sparing in terms of the executive actions that we have taken." Almost like he's taunting them now. Number 2, unions set to win, Enviro set to lose on the pipeline, the Keystone XL pipeline. Yeah, that. It's been like, I don't know, 3-4 years that we've been discussing the Keystone XL pipeline. But this may be the whole card for a couple of red state Democrats looking for a few thousand extra votes from key constituencies in this midterm year. We are told that there will be an announcement about environmental impact today that will be released from the State Department, paving the way for, I don't know, maybe summertime of the midterm year for the announcement to be made. Mark Pryor, call your office. Number 3, war dance or kabuki on immigration. House Republicans have a statement of principles. That's not a bill. As it relates to what they would eventually like to see in an immigration bill, their first precept would render it entirely unpassable, which is to say that enforcement has to come first, something that no way the Senate is going to go for. Why are they doing it? What does it mean? We'll talk about that. A demint man for the Oklahoma race? Randy Brogdon is a very conservative former state senator in Oklahoma. He is leaning into, quite possibly, the race to replace Tom Coburn, who is retiring, leaving the Senate. Election's going to be held in November. There's 2 already in it, but not in it so far as somebody that the Senate Conservatives Fund can really, really, really love. Maybe Brogdon's their man. Number 5, last and definitely not least, New York declares war on the birds of the 1%. This is from Agence France Presse. Swans, previously the birds brought to populate the estates of rich people in New York, are annoying and get sucked into airplane engines and poop on stuff. So the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation says swans attack people, destroy vegetation, pose a threat to jetliners, and damage water because of their stuff. Now New York State Conservation Department wants to expand the offensive and eliminate an estimated 2,200 free-ranging mute swans by 2025, killing them or allowing, quote, responsible ownership of the birds in captivity. Lethal control methods will include shooting of free-range swans and live capture and euthanasia in accordance with established guidelines, including oiling the eggs and puncturing or sterilizing them. De Blasio. This is a de Blasio thing. I'm just saying. Those are your buzz cuts. You'd have them already if you were signed up for Fox News First. It's free. It's on the emails. It's so easy. You ought to try it out. Treat yourself. You can go to foxnewspolitics.com, sign up therein. But we're going to do it all right now because it's Power Play.
Republicans had one of their bills to nowhere on the floor. Misrepresentation. The substance of the bill did not match the title, but that's par for the course.
That was House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi poo-pooing on Republicans and what she calls bills to nowhere. And this is Power Play. Now, that's a talking point that emerged today from the president in his interview with CNN that we heard from the former House Speaker herself when she was talking to Jon Stewart on Comedy Central last night. But the theme is the Republicans have no policy. There's zero Republican policy. Does that kind of work? Is it worth something? And can it help Democrats hold on to the United States Senate? Somebody who knows, who can see into the future, because he is the political editor for National Journal. Is that new?
It's overarching all the political stuff that comes out of NJ, including the hotline.
But is that new?
That is relatively within the last year. Happy New Year and Happy New Year.
And a new baby?
New baby, new job, new everything.
Killing it, man.
I know, I'm trying.
Political editor. I'm a political editor. Wow, this is awesome. All right, but you all know Josh Crosshauer, proud papa and proud new political editor for National Journal. Okay. So, Josh, first on the question of the Pelosi-ness.
Yeah.
You wrote a piece that has caused upset. You upset people in Washington because what you said was, gee, all of the folks that Watergate moved through the United States political system like a rabbit through a python and changed things very dramatically. In 1974, a bunch of people got elected. Now a bunch of those people who were elected in 1974 are retiring.
Yes.
Those are chief lieutenants to Nancy Pelosi. They're the core of her leadership team, people like Henry Waxman in California, George Miller also from California. So these former committee chairmen are dropping out. And you basically pose the question, when is it time, when does the bell toll for the former speaker?
Yeah, there's the loss of her top lieutenants. There's the fact that even her closest allies recognize that Democrats are not going to be retaken in the House. It would take a miracle. You even see Democrats like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the DNC chairwoman, saying that, it's not likely. It's probably not going to happen. When you have that kind of public acknowledgement and then you lose some of your top allies on Capitol Hill, the writing's on the wall. She says she's running for re-election in 2014, but very few Democrats think she's going to stay past the next presidential election in 2016. The writing is on the wall that she's a lot of Democrats want to move up the food chain. A lot of California Democrats, or a lot of younger Democrats that would probably be better messengers for the party heading into the future.
And what would be typical to happen would be that she would run for her seat again, win the seat again, to make sure that it's well, it's not like her district would go Republican, but for continuity purposes, win the seat again and then not run for leadership.
And that was what Denny Hastert did several years back. It wouldn't be out of the question that she could run, win re-election, step down, resign, and have a special election for her
And then
seat.
that would set up Steny Hoyer?
Hoyer he's considered too moderate, and I think there are a lot of new more liberal members elected in the past several elections. Javier Becerra is a California Democrat. He's in leadership.
Israel.
Steve Israel, who's gotten good reviews for his tenure at the DCCC. So there are a lot of younger Democrats. I think Hoyer wouldn't necessarily signal a generational change.
No.
He'd signal an ideological change.
But that's not the ideological direction that the party's going.
And he lost to Pelosi in the past leadership battles.
But he does do a really nice, what does he do? He does a, oh no, that's the ox roast that they have. Yeah. So, all right, so the question though is this. We hear it from the president. We hear it from the minority leader. We hear it that, these Republicans, they don't do anything. These Republicans, they don't do anything. Now, it seems like there's two advantages in this from a political strategy. One, you focus people on a do-nothing Congress, and it's sort of like a double do-nothing Congress. Yeah. But then in addition to that, you try to goad Republicans into taking policy positions that you can then argue with.
Yeah, it's interesting that President Obama is still using the talking point of Republican intransigence, when in reality, over the last few months, we've actually seen Republicans remarkably, maybe not bipartisan, but they're definitely showing that they want to get stuff done. Paul Ryan, at the end of last year, working out a budget compromise with Patty Murray, the immigration principles outlined by Republican leadership this week, even the Farm Bill, which, last year looked like it was a mess, involved in a lot of ideological entanglements within the Republican Party. That's now behind them. So nothing huge. We're not talking about like healthcare, Obamacare type legislation, but small things that were not getting done in past Congresses. Republicans have certainly moved to the center, if you will. The debt ceiling doesn't look like it's going to be a big battle that we might have thought of.
See, I don't know. You're the political editor. Well, I'm too, but we're both political editors here. But I will say this. I think that the debt ceiling, they're going to have to get more than the Keystone Pipeline. Don't you think? I'm not saying it's going to be blood flowing in the streets of Washington, but the conservatives are going to need more than nothing.
I think that Republicans have some leverage more than they did on the budget.
Yeah.
The mentality among some Republicans, though, is that they think health care is such a winning issue.
Right.
They don't want to gum up the works with anything else.
Why are we talking about immigration then?
That's an interesting question, and why they're talking about immigration is there's a wing of the party, the establishment, the business chamber of commerce wing that has been pushing for immigration reform and thinks Republicans need to win over Hispanics, maybe not for 2014, but for the presidential election. But it definitely has sparked a lot of intra-party debate. The conservatives have made the same case that moderates made.